Welcome to the Beyond You podcast, where we have real conversations about healing, trusting yourself again, and building the kind of relationships that actually feel good. I'm Samantha, and if you've ever felt like you're just going through the motions, like you're doing all the right things but still feeling disconnected, you're in the right place. Because here we go beyond the surface, beyond the hurt, beyond the patterns that keep you stuck. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here because we are going to be settling into one of my favorite topics. I love this. So I just want you to take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale, because let's settle into this together. Because I was sitting on my couch last night journaling, as I tend to do. Glass of kombucha in hand. I know, I pretend like it's my wine. Some lo-fi beats playing, and I wrote down a question that stopped me. And I thought about, when was the last time I truly felt like the main character in my own life? Like I was in full control, writing my own story, making decisions that felt good to me and not just what's expected of me. Because honestly, so many of us, especially just people of color, right? Women and men of color, we have been conditioned to put ourselves in the background. We play the supporting role in other people's lives, showing up for them, making sure they're good, sacrificing, shrinking, waiting for permission to take up space. And like we do it so well that sometimes we forget we're even doing it. So I'm here to remind you to stop. Right? And I'm here to remind you to understand that I get it. I had this moment last month when I was in just trying to fill out if I want to be in the dating space or not. But I find that try to be this emotional support human for somebody else with not even thinking about myself at times. And there I was dropping everything again to be this person's emotional support human. Meanwhile, my own passion project was just sitting untouched, gathering digital dust on my laptop. And the moment I realized I was writing myself as a side character in my own life story. And I know I'm not alone. Like, how many times have you postponed your dreams because someone else needed you? Or how many times have you dimmed your light in a meeting so you wouldn't be labeled aggressive or too much? How many times have you talked yourself out that bold move because it's not the right time? But today, I want that to stop, because today we're flipping the script. You are not just here to exist. You are here to take up space, to be seen, to live a life that actually excites you. And in this episode, we're going to talk about what it actually means to become the main character of your own life, without guilt, without fear, and without waiting for permission. So get comfortable, grab your coffee, your tea, your wine, whatever you need, because this one's for you. So first, I want to get into on why we shrink ourselves, because let's get into why so many of us find ourselves playing supportive roles in our own lives. And I want to acknowledge something right away. For many of us, there are very real historical and cultural reasons why we learn to make ourselves smaller. Most of us were raised to prioritize others before ourselves, especially in just the women of color. And men as well have to deal with this too, but in different ways. So know that most of us were raised to prioritize others before ourselves, whether it was our families, our partners, our jobs, or just society's expectations. And I remember, I had my grandmother always saying, family first, then yourself, which sounds noble, but she never mentioned when it was finally time for yourself. Right? We were taught that being too confident, too bold, or too self-focused made us selfish, or my personal favorite, full of ourselves. Like loving yourself is somehow a character flaw. And for many of us, there's this added layer of feeling like we represent our entire culture or community in predominantly white spaces, so we can't mess up or ask for too much. then there's what I call the strong woman trap. I talked about this over on my YouTube as well. If you haven't checked that video, check that out. You know what I'm talking about. Like that pedestal they put us on for being, quote unquote, so strong and resilient. But what happens when we want to be vulnerable? When we want to rest, then when we want to say, actually, I can't handle this right now. Many of us are so used to survival mode, hustling, grinding, making it work, that we forget what it's like to actually dream, to want things just because they bring us joy, not because they're practical or expected. And I'll never forget this moment from about, I would say maybe about 3 years ago. I was sitting in my office, drowning in work I didn't love, when my colleague came in bubbling with excitement about her upcoming sabbatical. She was taking 3 months off to write, I don't know, it was like some novel. And my first thought wasn't, good for her. It was, let's be real. It was like, who does she think she is, right? And I think we do that when we just feel just within ourselves like it's something to where we kind of want it, but we don't really want to say anything about it. So not because I didn't think she deserved it, but because I couldn't even imagine giving myself the kind of permission. And this was a wake-up call. I realized I had internalized this idea that my worth was tied to my productivity, my usefulness to others, my ability to keep it all together, and that mindset had me staring in everyone's movie but my own. So I want you to take a moment right now and ask yourself, where have I been playing small in my own life? Where have I been waiting for permission to fully show up? What dreams have I put on the back burner because I didn't think I deserved to prioritize them? And most importantly, what would change if I started seeing myself as the main character? So what it actually means to be the main character. Now, let's be clear. Let's really clear something up. When I talk about being the main character, I'm not talking about this TikTok main character, syndrome that was, a while ago, where people act like the world revolves around them. They're so special and different from everyone else, which is great. I'm all for it. You like it, I love it is my motto. But that's not what this is about. Being the main character isn't about being perfect or having it all together. It's not about having a highlight reel life that looks good on Instagram, and it's definitely not about putting your needs above everyone else's all the time. Being the main character is about being intentional with your life. I talked about this in, I believe, when we came back for, was it the season? No, I think we did this for New Year's. When I talked about the intentions that you want to set, not just about these resolutions. And being the main character, it's about choosing yourself and no longer letting fear dictate your choices. A lot of our choices are dictated based on our past, not even about what's happening right now. It's about recognizing that you have agency even in circumstances that feel out of your control. Oh, I know this can be hard to take in, but you always have a choice in how you respond, how you communicate, your needs, the boundaries you set. Like, we have choices. So it means knowing what you want and going after it without apologizing. Like, understand, my girl who told me last week she applied for that promotion even though her manager hadn't tapped her for it yet. She said, I'm not waiting to be chosen anymore. I'm choosing myself. And that is that main character energy. It means speaking up for yourself instead of shrinking or dimming your light. I had a client who finally told her mother-in-law that no, Sunday dinners at her house weren't going to work every single week. She set that boundary with love, but also with firmness. And guess what? The world did not end. Her mother-in-law adjusted, and now my client has space to breathe and reset for her week. So understand that being the main character means letting go of people pleasing and making decisions that serve you. It means asking yourself, what do I actually want, instead of automatically saying yes to what others want from you. It's about walking in your power, whether that's in relationships, at work, or in how you carry yourself daily. It's that energy when you walk into a room and you're not wondering if you belong there. You know you do. And I think about Viola Davis in How to Get Away with Murder, that scene where she takes off her wig and makeup, showing her natural hair and bare face, like that raw vulnerability and authenticity that wasn't really out at that time. Like, that's the main character energy, not because it's perfect or polished, but because it's real and it's hers. So instead of asking, am I good enough? Start asking, does this align with life I actually want? So stop focusing on fitting into someone else's story and start writing your own. And let me tell you, this shift doesn't happen overnight. I don't want to make it seem like this is so simple. There are still days when I catch myself shrinking, when that people pleaser in me wants to take over. But now I recognize it faster. I can pause and ask myself, is this the choice the main character would make? And that simple question has changed everything for me. And no, this is difficult. I literally had to tell someone last week on how I felt and being really vulnerable and how I felt. And it was hard, especially when you're in situations and spaces where the person's going to gaslight you or deflect on the situation. And then when someone does not, and you just speak in your honest truth, I find that if I'm in a space where I'm speaking more from, I'm trying to inform you about what's going on versus trying to get your validation, it makes a world of difference in how I show up, because it's more about me sharing myself with you about what I need and what I want. So I'm not trying to hold you accountable of something you're not doing. I'm just saying this is how it makes me feel. So it's this person's choice on whether to follow through and listen to me or not, right? Like, that's their choice. So now I want to be able to just kind of give you some practical steps to kind of have this main character shift, because we're going to work on this today, right? So how do you actually shift into being the main character of your life? So let's break it down into real tangible steps that you can start with today. Okay, so first, I love this when I tell you, start romanticizing your life. Y'all, you do not need a perfect life to enjoy it. One of the biggest lies we've been sold is that we'll be happy when we get the promotion, when we lose the weight, when we find the partner, when the kids are older. But main characters don't wait for everything to be perfect to start enjoying their story. Start treating your everyday moments like they matter, because they do. So wake up and ask yourself, how can I make today feel good for me? Not just productive, not just useful, but actually good. Because I know for me, it'll be random things, right? Like I told earlier, I think last year, where I was like, oh, making a nice coffee drink and trying these different simple syrups and recipes. It's like trying to figure out what that looks like. I don't know. I've been on this like cooking energy era, like I was not on before. But you find out what it works for you, And so these can be small shifts that make a big difference. Playing your favorite 90s R&B playlist while cooking dinner instead of rushing through it. Oh, I love doing that. So the boys in the background be singing songs. I'm like, how y'all know that song? It's because I played it so many times, that's why. But taking yourself on a solo date to that art exhibit you've been wanting to see, buying yourself flowers just because. I love this, even though I cannot keep a plant alive for my life. But I love the feeling of having just flowers in the home. It feels like a feeling of just life there. And, just buy some flowers from Whole Foods or wherever I can get, some great flowers from, whatever's in that time. I used to get from Whole Foods. I don't really get as much anymore right now. But just having that for yourself. But you can decide on what it is for you. Creating a morning ritual that feels sacred before you dive into emails. Like, be able to figure out what that looks like for you. And I started keeping a joy list, simple things that reliably bring me joy. So on tough days, I have a go-to list of small actions I can take to shift my energy. Mine includes dancing in the kitchen to Beyonce or my 90s R&B. My number one is usually Jill Scott. But I regress. I want you to think about what yours is, right? Taking a walk while listening to the specific meditation podcast. I've really been into this kind of guided meditations lately. I feel like it helps me to be centered. And I know before it's like people keep telling you to listen to meditations, but it really actually does make a difference. I use Inner Sight Timer for just, meditations. And I also use the ones I have in Beyond You Collective as well, to just help me just kind of center myself and make sure that I just stay in tune with me. Because sometimes it's not the exercise it's going to get me. It's really just kind of helping me centered, especially the times when on Mondays when the kids go to school and everything. But finding what your joy list is for you, and think about if you want to texting your best friend, your inside joke, like just really thinking about like what you need and following through with it. So I want you to think about what small rituals or practices could you add to your day that would make it feel more intentional and more you-centered. Okay. And so then I want you to be able to make decisions that align with you, not just others. And know that this is a big one, especially for my chronic people pleasers out there. How many times have you said, I don't know, or whatever you want, when deep down you actually do know what you want? Start practicing making decisions based on what feels right for you, not what you think will please others or meet their expectations. This doesn't mean you become selfish or stop considering others. It just means your needs take a seat at the table too. Because I want to be able to challenge you. So here's a challenge for you. The next time you're about to say yes to something you don't want to do, I want you to pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I doing this out of obligation or because it actually feels right? If you weren't worried about disappointing anyone, what decision would you make? I want you to really think about that. That's why this kind of goes and ties into what we talked about before with the hell yes versus no. But I really want you to just really start paying attention to what feels right for you, right? There's no certain way to be. It's really about just truly just being yourself. But you got to be able to get yourself in this main character energy to be able to feel it. Okay. And so I remember having a client who was invited to her college roommate's destination wedding. They hadn't been close in years. The trip would cost thousands she didn't have, and she'd have to use precious vacation days. But she was about to say yes because she felt obligated. When I asked her what she actually wanted, I know like this might resonate with some, but she teared up and admitted she wanted to use that time and money for like a writing retreat or just to stay home. She'd just been dreaming about this writing retreat though, and understand like giving herself permission to decline that invitation was a pivotal main character moment for her. Remember, every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with you, you're saying no to something that does. Next, I want you to be able to set boundaries without apology. Main characters have clear boundaries. They know what's acceptable to them and what's not, and they communicate those lines clearly. So start by identifying where you need stronger boundaries in your life. Is it with family members who overstep? Colleagues who expect you to be available 24/7? Friends who drain your energy? Your own tendencies to overcommit? Then practice expressing those boundaries clearly and compassionately, but without the apology tour that often comes with it. You don't need to explain, defend, or justify your boundaries. Instead of, I'm so sorry, but I can't make it to your gathering, I want you to try this instead. Thank you for the invitation. I won't be able to attend, but I appreciate you thinking of me. Instead of, sorry to bother you, could we discuss the way you spoke to me in that meeting? Try, I'd like to talk about our interaction in the meeting today. When would be a good time? Setting boundaries isn't just about saying no. It's about defining the terms of your engagement with the world. It's saying this is how I need to be treated to show up fully in this relationship or space. So understand when I tell you this, I know I keep saying it, but it's the most loving thing that you can do, because you're letting people know on how to treat you, and some people have to be taught that, and that's okay. Right? It says nothing about you. It's just like, okay, this is not okay for me, or this is okay for me. And so now I want you to be able to rewrite this story in your head. This might be the most important step, your inner dialogue. The story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of shapes everything. If you're constantly telling yourself you're not ready, you'll act like you're not. If you believe people like me don't get opportunities like that, you won't even try. Understand your internal narrative. It says everything. Is that if your internal narrative is that you're too much or not enough, you're constantly adjusting yourself instead of standing fully in your power. So I know that this time it's time to flip that script. Challenge those limiting beliefs every time they pop up. When you catch yourself thinking, who am I to do this? Counter with, who am I not to do this? I want you to be able to say things that will support you, whether out loud. You can write this down of, I am the main character of my life. I am worthy of taking up space. My dreams matter. My voice deserves to be heard. I'm stepping into my power fully and unapologetically. I trust my decisions. I honor my boundaries. I choose myself again and again. Understand repeating this to yourself. I have a plenty of self-talk rampages within my Beyond You Collective as well, but I need you to be able to really practice it as inner dialogue, especially if you're talking to yourself a different way. And so understand that this will feel silly at first, like you're lying to yourself. That's normal. I need you to keep going. Your brain believes what you repeatedly tell it. If you repeatedly tell it that you're worried about something, it will follow suit. Now, once you repeatedly tell yourself these things, and if you need this on repeat, I have those things and available in the collective there. But I want you, if you need to repeat this podcast, you can do that as well. Also, surround yourself with other main characters. One of the most powerful ways to step into main character energy is to surround yourself with people who are already living that way. People who inspire you, who push you to dream bigger, who remind you of your worth when you forget. Look at your current circles. Are these relationships reciprocal? Do these people celebrate your wins without jealousy? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they encourage you to grow even when that growth might change the dynamic between you? Sometimes becoming the main character means letting certain relationships evolve or even end. That doesn't make you cold or callous. It makes you intentional about your energy and your life. This is exactly why, I create these spaces, this community, because I understand this transformation is powerful. And so before we go, I want to just kind of give a little bit of meditation if we can. So if you're driving, just you can listen to it, maybe soften your gaze a bit if you can. If not, just take in what I'm saying. But if you are at home or doing something, take just this couple of moments just to be there for yourself. So let's take a moment now to really feel this shift. I want you to get comfortable wherever you are. Close your eyes if that feels good and safe for you. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Again, breathe in deeply. Exhale completely. Now, one more time. Inhale and exhale. Now, I want you to imagine yourself a year from now. Not the version of you who's still doubting, still waiting, still shrinking, but the version of you who is fully standing in their power as the main character of their life. I want you to see her, him clearly. Notice how she carries herself. There's a quiet confidence in the way they move through the world. Not arrogance, not perfectionism, just a deep, unshakable knowing of their worth. She walks into every room like she belongs. She speaks with confidence because she knows her voice matters. She sets boundaries with ease because she values her energy. She makes decisions aligned with her values, not just others' expectations. She knows what she wants and she doesn't wait for permission to go after it. She's not without fear. She just doesn't let fear make her decisions anymore. Now I want you to imagine stepping into her shoes. Imagine wearing her energy. Feel it move through your body, into your chest, your shoulders, your spine. Feel yourself standing a little taller, breathing a little deeper. What does she feel like in your body? What thoughts does she think? What kind of decisions does she make? Now bring to a mind a situation in your current life where you've been playing small or giving your power away. See yourself approaching that situation with this new main character energy. How would you speak differently? What boundaries would you set? What would you prioritize? Let that version of you guide you. She's not separate from you. She is you, just without the fear and doubt that's been holding you back. Now, let's get into doing a visualization and grounding meditation for you. I want you to get comfortable wherever you are. Close your eyes if that feels good and safe for you. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Again, breathe in deeply and exhale completely. One more time. Inhale and exhale. I want you to imagine yourself a year from now. Not the version of you who's still doubting, still waiting, still shrinking, but the version of you who is fully standing in her power as the main character of her life. See her clearly. Notice how she carries herself. There's a quiet confidence in the way she moves through the world. Not arrogance, not perfectionism, just a deep, unshakable knowing of her worth. She walks into every room like she belongs. She speaks with confidence because she knows her voice matters. She sets boundaries with ease because she values her energy. She makes decisions aligned with her values, not just others' expectations. She knows what she wants and she doesn't wait for permission to go after it. She's not without fear. She just doesn't let fear make her decisions anymore. Now I want you to imagine stepping into her shoes. Imagine wearing her energy. Feel it move through your body, into your chest, your shoulders, your spine. Feel yourself standing a little taller, breathing a little deeper. What did she feel like in your body? What thoughts does she think? What kind of decisions does she make? Now bring to mind a situation in your current life where you'd been playing small or giving your power away. See yourself approaching that situation with this new main character energy. How would you speak differently? What boundaries would you set? What would you prioritize? Let that version of you guide you. She's not separate from you. She is you, just without the fear and doubt that's been holding you back. Take one more deep breath in and let it all out. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. This is your reminder you are not the background character in your own life. Step forward, take up space, be seen. You belong in every room you step in. So understand, when you start stepping into your own energy, there is going to be pushback because not everyone is going to celebrate you claiming your power. When you've played a certain role in people's lives for a long time, the reliable one, the yes woman, the peacekeeper, the one who makes things happen behind the scenes, and suddenly you start shifting that dynamic, it can unsettle the people around you. They might say things like, "You've changed. You're being selfish. That's not like you. Who do you think you are?" And those words can sting, especially when they come from people you care about. They can make you question yourself and wonder if you maybe should go back to the way things were. But what I want you to remember is that discomfort you're feeling, it's growth, right? And that's why in anything, when I work with just you in the groups, the memberships, understand that comfort with the uncomfortable is the key. And it's the natural resistance that comes with any meaningful change when people kind of push back or when you're growing. And that pushback you're getting, it's often more about them than it is about you. When you change the dynamic, it forces others to change too. Like, it might mean they can't depend on you in the same ways anymore. It might mean that they have to face their own choices instead of focusing on yours. It might even inspire them to make changes they're not ready for yet. So how do you handle this pushback with grace while still staying true to your main character journey? First, I want you to expect it. When you're prepared for resistance, it doesn't throw you off course as easily. Second, respond, don't react. When someone questions your new boundaries or choices, take a breath before answering. Remind yourself that their action is about them processing change, not about you being wrong. Third, stay grounded in your why. Keep coming back to the reason you're making these changes. The life you're creating, the peace you're protecting, the dreams you're pursuing. And finally, have compassion, both for yourself and for them. This transition isn't easy for anyone. So hold space for the discomfort without letting it derail you. I had a client who started saying no to last minute requests from her family to watch their kids. She loved her nieces and nephews, but the constant expectation that she drop everything because she was single one was preventing her from building her own life. When she started setting boundaries, her sister actually said, "I don't even recognize you anymore." And I knew that hurt a lot. But instead of backing down, I wanted her to say, and what she said was, "I'm recognizing myself for the first time, and I hope you can too." It took time, but eventually her family adjusted to the new dynamic, and some of them even started setting their better boundaries in their own lives. Remember, becoming the main character isn't about having a perfect journey with no obstacles. It's about knowing that even when challenges arise, you get to decide how your story unfolds. So, as we come to the end of this episode, I want to leave you with this truth, right? You becoming the main character in your life doesn't diminish anyone else's story. This isn't a zero-sum game, right? Like when you step into your power, you actually create more space for others to do the same. And I believe that when women, especially women of color, start prioritizing their joy, setting clear boundaries, and pursuing their dreams without apology, we don't transform our own lives, we transform the world around us. We create new possibilities for our communities. We show the next generation what it looks like to live with intention and purpose. So if this episode hits home for you, if you felt that shift within you, I want you to do one thing today. Make one decision that's just for you. It doesn't have to be big. It could be as simple as saying no to something you don't want to do, or choosing to do something that actually makes you feel good. Then I want you to share your main character moment with me, whether it's on Instagram, and tag us on Beyond You Main Character. I'll be resharing these on our stories because celebrating each other is part of this journey too. And if you're ready to keep this energy going, know we have different communities here. The Beyond You Collective is just more personalized access to me. Ask any questions you need, I'll answer it in a definitely shorter time than when I kind of see these at times. And we'll go even deeper into the work together. This time, we're just kind of reclaiming our narrative. We're reclaiming our journeys. So we have journal prompts, workshops, and be able to help with this process because you deserve to be the main character of your life. And I'm here to make sure you never forget that. Until next time, keep shining, keep choosing yourself. Remember, this is your story. No one else gets to write it for you. I'll see you in the next episode.